When someone strikes a nerve with Russia, its typical response is to just ban them from entering the country. As you can imagine, it's becoming a fairly long list, and it just got that little bit longer with both myself and security expert Lincoln Parker making the cut. Link, is it a congratulations? Is it commiserations? What was your reaction when you first saw that you'd essentially been banned from Russia by Vladimir Putin?
Well, we've both been sanctioned, and I woke up at 6:30 in the morning to a text message from you saying you've just been sanctioned by the government of Russia. And I click on the link, and there it is. The Foreign Ministry of the Russian Federation has sanctioned a bunch of Australians. I think there's about 100 or so, and you and I are on the list. And I think it's a badge of honour because we have dared to speak truth to power. And clearly the KGB does not like it when you're getting cut through and you're influencing people and you're telling the truth, especially to people in Australia, but all around the world. And, you know, that's what happens when you're speaking truth to power.
Tell me how much this might have changed future travel plans for you in the near distant future. Were you planning on visiting Russia?
Well, no. So, look, Russia is in an axis of adversaries, if you will, with China, Iran, North Korea, and a few of their proxy states. And these are never places that I can go or would go or even want to go to because, look, they're starting wars. We've got a number of conflicts going on around the world now, and it looks like China is going to invade Taiwan sooner than later. So, no.
It's interesting. I got an email about a potential hosting gig in China, and it was for 3 days, and it was a lot of money, but I wrote back and said, just Google me and my dad. I don't think I'll be taking that one on. Thank you so much.
No.
Very disappointed. Link, talk to me about something that the United States Indo-Pacific Command Chief has said and referring to that axis of evil you just mentioned.
Yeah, so look, the Americans have been coming out and saying this for a number of years now, certainly more proactively than anybody in Australia, including our Prime Minister, that there is indeed an axis of adversaries, and which I mentioned before. You've got China teaming up with Russia, North Korea, and their proxy states of Hezbollah, and in Yemen you've got the Houthis and you've got Hamas as well. So they're causing a lot of problems. And of course North Korea have sent soldiers over to help Russia now fight against Ukraine. And so we're seeing like we saw in the 1930s, we're seeing a group of countries, of like-minded countries, all coming out to fight Western countries and Western values and democracy and free trade and all those sorts of things. And we need to be prepared. And I don't think it is something that we're prepared for. No. And certainly our Prime Minister has been indecisive. He's used the ADF like a piggy bank and has raided it. And so instead of preparing Australia, he's making us weaker. I guess the only thing that Albo has been decisive on is asking Qantas for upgrades, which is a real shame because he's let down Australia.
Talking about letting people down, you would have just heard my interview before the break with Gazelle, who's incredible. So Germany's just announced that it will shut down all 3 Iranian consulates in response to the assumed execution of Jamshid Shamad. Little bit late, I would have said, and she and I spoke off camera for a fair while, and the amount of time she went to both governments pleading for help. He wasn't just sentenced to death yesterday. He was sentenced to death months ago. He's been captive 4 years, and he essentially has been left to die. It's horrific.
Yeah, it's like trying to shut the gate after the horse has bolted.
Yeah.
He and she have known about this for many months, as you mentioned, and yet the German government has not done enough to prevent him from being executed by the Iranians. And this should be a wake-up call for everybody across the West. These are the types of regimes that we're dealing with. Iran is backed by China. They're their number one financial supporter, and they're in an axis with Russia.
Link, if it was, and it really frustrates me, but if it was just you and me saying it, then I'd understand maybe some people going, oh, what would they know? Da, da, da. It's people from there, people who are part of it, people who have lived there, Iranian people. Yeah. Same as Amjad Taha, who's here from the UAE, a Muslim man. They are the ones saying this.
Yes.
They know.
They're on the ground.
Absolutely. It's mind-blowing. Now, talking about being on the ground, pre-selection, Liberal candidate for Mackellar, so the Northern Beaches. Indeed. I don't know what you can or you can't say. Can you say anything?
Not too much. I'm a candidate for Liberal Party pre-selection for the seat of Mackellar, which if I win, I would then be going up against Sophie Scomps, who is the Teal member for McKellar, who is essentially a one-issue candidate. She's only focused on the environment, and really you only see her in the community right before an election. But she's not addressing all the other issues that our community are desperately in need of representation from. So I'm hoping to do that.
Yep, well, I would say to all of those, you certainly have my vote, not that I have one there possibly, but my kind of vote that I announce here. And I think given the current state of the world and your particular passion for national security and defence, we need people like you desperately in government.
That.
So you couldn't do any better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Link. Thank you for being willing to run as well.
Thank you.